دعاء الافتتاح. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. O Allah, I begin the glorification of you with praising you, and you always guide us to the right out of your favoring upon us. And I am certain that you are the most merciful of those who show mercy in situations of pardon and mercy. But you are very exacting in situations of giving exemplary punishment and chastisement to the wrongdoers. And you are the greatest omnipotent in the domain of absolute power and might. O Allah, you have permitted me to pray and beseech you. So listen, O the All-Hearer, to my words of praise. And please reply my prayer, O the All-Merciful. And please overlook my slips, O the oft-forgiving. You, O my God, have relieved so many of my griefs, and you have dispelled so many of my sorrows, and you have overlooked so many of my slips, and you have spread over me many of your mercies, and you have unlocked so many of rings of misfortunes in which I was detained. All praise be to Allah, who has not betaken wife or son, and who has no partner in the sovereignty, nor has he any protecting friend through dependence, and magnify him with all magnificence. Allahu Akbar. All praise be to Allah with all gratitude for all his bounties. All praise be to Allah, who has no opposition in his rule, nor there is any challenge to his commands. All praise be to Allah, who has no counsel to meddle with his operation of creation, nor there is anything similar to him in his greatness. All praise be to Allah, whose commandments are active in the creation, and the praising of whom is incumbent. His glory is evident through his kindness. His distinct overflowing generosity is freely available. His unlimited bestowals do not exhaust, and he does not swell the numerous benefits except because of generosity and kindness. Verily, he is mighty, generous. O Allah, I ask for some from much in the midset. O Allah, I ask for some from much in the midst of my many needs, from which I entirely depend on you, and you since eternity are able to do without them. But for me it is a titanic effort, and for you it is very easy and simple. O Allah, truly, as you pardon my sins, and you overlook my mistakes, and you take a lenient view of my disorderly conduct, and you cover up my foul actions, and you show consideration in spite of my transgressions committed willfully or negligently. All that tempted me to ask for that which I do not deserve from you on account of your mercy, and you may give me the daily bread, and you may provide me with that which is suitable for me, through your control, and you may distinguish me with favorable reply to my requests. So I persist in calling out, believing in you, and I invoke you, talking familiarly, not afraid nor shy, but assured of your love and kindness whenever I turn to you. A temporary setback and I, out of ignorance, begin to despair, although perhaps slowing down may be a blessing in disguise, because you alone know all the consequences. I do not know a generous master who is more accommodating to the dissatisfied servants than you are to me. O Lord, you give an invitation, but I turn it down. And you become familiar with me, but I do not care for you. And you show affection to me, but I do not correspond to you, as if you are overreaching me, yet you do not abstain from having mercy upon me and doing favors to me and blessing me out of your magnanimity and generosity. So please have mercy on your ignorant servant and bestow upon him with the favors of your beneficence. Verily, you are generous and kind. All praise be to Allah, the owner of the sovereignty, who sets the course of skies and the stars, who controls the winds, who causes the daybreak, and who administers the authority, the Lord of the worlds. All praise be to Allah for His indulgence, although He has full acquaintance with all things. All praise be to Allah for His amnesty, although He has full power over all things. All praise be to Allah for the respite He allows in spite of provocation. All praise be to Allah for the respite that He allows in spite of provocation. He is able to do whatever He wills. All praise be to Allah, the Creator of all created beings, who makes the sustenance freely available, who starts the day, who is the owner of glory, might, favors, and bounties, and who is so far away that none of us can ever see Him. And in the same time He is so near that He is fully aware of even the whispering secrets. Blessed the exalted be He. All praise be to Allah, who has no equal to challenge Him, nor is there an image comparable to Him, nor is there a helper to assist Him. He tames the powerful by His force, and disgraced are the great ones before His greatness. So He through His power fulfills that which He wills. All praise be to Allah, who gives answer to me whenever I call Him, and He covers up my shortcomings, yet I disobey Him, and He gives me the largest part of the bounties, yet I do not show His gratitude. Many and auspicious favors has He given me, and many a terrible dangers has He turned off, and many a blossoming joys had He made available for me. Therefore I sing His praises and recite His glorifications, and mention Him with exaltation. All praise be to Allah, whose screen cannot be penetrated, and whose door is not blocked, and whose beseecher is not rejected, and one whom hopes. All praise be to Allah, whose screen cannot be penetrated, and whose door is not blocked, and whose beseecher is not rejected, and one who hopes him is not disappointed. All praise be to Allah, who secures the frightened ones, who comes to the help of the upright ones, who promotes the cause of the weak ones, annihilates the autocrats, who destroys rulers and appoints in others instead. All praise be to Allah, the eradicator of the tyrants, the terminator of the unjust ones, the catcher of the fugitives, the punisher of the unjust ones, the aid of the seekers of aid, the settler of the needs of the beseechers, and the support of the faithful believers. All praise be to Allah. In His awe-inspiring fear, the heavens and its dwellers tremble and shiver, and the earth and its inhabitants shake and quiver, and the oceans and all that which float and swim in their waters float together in excitement and tumult. All praise be to Allah, who has guided us to this. We could not truly have been led aright if Allah had not guided us. All praise be to Allah, who created but is not created. And all praise be to Allah, who creates but is not created, and He gives subsistence but He needs no provisions, and He gives food to eat but He takes no nourishment, and He makes the living dead, and He brings the dead to life, but He is the ever-living, there is no death for Him. In His hands is all the good, and He is able to do all things. O Allah, please do send blessings on Muhammad, your servant and messenger, and your confidant, friend, and beloved intimate, and the choicest of your created beings, and the bearer of your sacraments, and the quotient of your messengers, with the most superior, the most exquisite, the most handsome, with the most superior, the most exquisite, the most handsome, the most perfect, the most upright, the most prospering. O Allah, please do send blessings on Muhammad, your servant and messenger, and your confidant, friend, and beloved intimate, and the choicest of your created beings, and the bearer of your sacraments, and the quotient of your messengers, with the most superior, the most exquisite, the most handsome, the most perfect, the most upright, the most prospering, the most pleasant, the most thoroughly purified, the most sublime, the most and the best blessings, advantages, mercies, affections, and salutations that you have ever made available to any one of your servants and prophets, and messengers, and choicest people, and those honored by you from among your created beings. O Allah, please send blessings on Ali, the commander of the believers, and the successor of the messenger of the Lord of the worlds, your servant, your beloved representative, and the brother of your messenger, and your decisive argument over the mankind, and your most important sign, and the great news from you. And please do send blessings on the truthful pure lady Fatima, the best of women of the world, and please do send blessings on the sons of the mercy to the world, the two leaders of true and guidance, the two leaders of true guidance, Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein, the two chiefs of the dwellers of paradise, and please do send blessings on the leaders of the Muslims, علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي. Those Imams, your decisive arguments over your servants, your trustworthy confidants in your lands, blessings that are numerous and non-stop. O Allah, please do send blessings on the custodian of your commandments, the vigilant guardian, the reliable patron, and the awaited justice, and please surround him with your favorite angels, and assist him with the Holy Spirit, O the Lord of the worlds. O Allah, please choose him to be the caller to your book and for establisher of your religion, and make him succeed in the earth as you caused those who were before him to succeed, and establish for him his faith which you have approved of him, and give him in exchange safety after the fear he serves you. He ascribes nothing as partner to you. O Allah, please give him power and authority, and through him strengthen the people, and give him the necessary assistance, and through him support the people, and help him with mighty help, and make him prevail over all with easiness, and delegate him your controlling authority. O Allah, please give currency to your religion and to your Prophet's traditions through him, so that nothing which is just and genuine is kept concealed from any one of the human beings. O Allah, we ardently desire that you confer upon us a respectful government, through which you may reactivate Islam and stimulate its followers, and humble and humiliate the impostors and their double-dealing shams, and include us among those who invite people to the obedience to you, and lead them to your approved path, and give us the good of this world and the world to come. O Allah, let us bear out and hold up that which you make known to us as the truth, and let us be fully aware of that which we fall short of doing. O Allah, through him set in order our disorder, gather and unite our flock, stitch together our ripped open separation, turn our want and poverty into enough, lift us up from our degradation, free us from our misery, pull us out of from our debts, set up our poverty, fill the gap created by confusion amongst us, let our difficulties be easy to deal with, refine our substance and style, untie our ropes and straps, let our efforts succeed well and secure success. Make us fulfill our promises, give answers to our prayers, listen to our requests, cause us to obtain the good of this world and the hereafter. Give us much and more than our expectations, O the best of givers and bestowers, and cleanse our hearts, unburden our emotions from hate and anger, and in the event of dispute in the matter of truth, show us the right path. Verily, you guide whoever you will to the right path. Let us through him get the better of your enemies and your opponents. O the true God, be it so. O Allah, we complain to you about the departure of our Prophet, your blessings on him and on the household, and about the absence of our leader, and about the big numbers of our enemies, and about our few number, and about widespread disorder, and about vicissitudes of time against us. So please Do send blessings on Muhammad and his household, and help us overcome all that through victory from you that you expedite, and through relieving us from our injuries, and through your help that you confirm, and through bringing in the rule of justice and fair play, and through mercy that you expand over us, and through good health that you cover us with. Out of your mercy, O most merciful of those who show mercy, برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين خالق السماوات والأرض، إلها واحدا أحدا صمدا لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، خاتم النبيين، رحمة للعالمين، طه وياسين بالقاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين، ورحمة الله على محبيهم ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتبارك في كتابه الحكيم وفرقانه المجيد وقوله الحق: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Respected audience, sisters and brothers, my youngsters, my elders, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullah. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon all of you and your near and dear ones. As we continue our discussion in these days of Holy Ramadan, and we were in our previous discussion talking about how our akhlaq, how our morals, our values, one of the main purposes that the Almighty Creator sent the prophets was to improve our morals, our values, our interrelationships with each other. And there's an interesting hadith narration from Imam Ali alayhi salam, peace be upon him, in which the Imam is saying that if you want to see somebody's religiosity, if you want to see how religious somebody is, don't look at their prayers or their fasting or all these things. Just look at how they interact with each other. He says if you want to know how religious somebody really is, prayers and fasting is not going to be the way to do it. See how they deal with others, see how they interact with others, and this is a way you determine how somebody is religious. So somebody may think that they are religious, but in actuality they may not be. Somebody may not think that they're religious, they just think that they're an ordinary person, ordinary individual, but in the eyes of God they might actually be somebody very special, somebody very religious. So the ultimate determining factor is how well we please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how our affinity, closeness, and relationship with Allah is. So this is what will determine what is our own position. And a lot of times, we in our hearts will know what our real position is. And sometimes the heart will give us that guidance that, okay, you know what? I might be able to present a fake presentation or an image to outsiders and others, but inside my heart I will often know how I really am. And this is something we have to really make sure that we use our judgment on, and we also try to improve as well. So our heart will be almost like an inner guide telling us how close we really are to God, as opposed to the image that we portray to others and others around us. So one of the things that I wanted to go into in our discussion today is our understanding of Allah, of God, and when we really and truly have a correct understanding of God, when we truly believe in Allah the way that He is, of course, supposed to be believed in, then our actions, deeds, and everything subsequently falls into place. It will eventually fall into place. But one of the reasons why we have the challenges that we do, one of the reasons why perhaps we have some of the problems that we do, is that we've not really believed properly. We've not really had that full trust and the certainty and the belief that we should have. It has not reached inside our innermost hearts. Because if the belief is there and strong, and the belief in Allah is with that certainty, then we will be able to act on the teachings. Because it's one thing to believe in God and just say that I believe in God. It's very simple to do that. It's another thing to believe in God and have our deeds, our actions, and our basically subservience evident, to be shown. It's very easy to believe in God. I often have this discussion with some of my interfaith friends, some of my colleagues in different meetings that I attend to and different gatherings that I go to, whereby I mentioned, I said, to believe in God is very easy. Some people don't say God. They may say Mother Nature, they may say nature, they may say the divine power, the supreme power, the spirit. Even atheists have a certain belief in a power that is greater than their own. They don't want to believe in God for whatever reason, but they have the belief. There was a time that Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, peace be upon him, was having a conversation with an atheist. And the atheist says, I don't believe in God, I don't believe in any supreme power or anything like that. The Imam, the Imam tested him in a very interesting way. The Imam was asking some questions in a very unique way. The Imam says, you are a trader, you're a businessman. You often go back and forth between different places. He says, yeah. He says, one day, do you remember? Do you remember one day you were going by boat somewhere? The man says, yeah, I often go by boat. He said, no, there was a particular storm that was causing a lot of waves and everything. The man was startled. He says, yeah. He says, eventually that boat that you were on capsized. It turned over and you were holding on to it. The man was quite startled that how does this man, Imam Jafar Sadiq here in Medina, how does he know what happened to me? Many, many miles away and nobody else was there. He says, do you remember you were holding on to the boat? And at that time, you knew that that storm was there. The storm was ready for Haman. And that moment, for a few moments or whenever, you were thinking that something or somebody may save you. Man says, yes, you're right. He says, that was Allah. Allahu Akbar. That was Allah. That was God. You were believing that something, somehow, somewhere will save you. You're an atheist. You don't want to believe in God. But that was God that you were calling out to. That was God who saved you, that you called out to. So even an atheist has a belief in God. The same Imam often used to have discussions, and people would ask the Imam that can God be seen? Why can't God be seen? Why is God not evidently visible to the eyes? And if you recall our discussion a few days ago, in which we had said that Imam Ali says, yes, you can see God, but not with these eyes, not with these temporal, material, physical eyes. So one time Imam Jafar Sadiq was approached by a man who says that I want to see God. The Imam says, look at the sun. The man says, I can't look at the sun, I'll go blind. How can I look at the sun? The Imam is telling him, he says, if you cannot look at the sun, which is a creation of God, how can you look at God? If you can't even look at the creation of God, imagine the sublimity of God Himself. He says, what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to show? So what we said was that God from these physical eyes may not be seen. And there's so many things around us that physically are not seen, physically cannot be seen. And they have to be believed. They need to be believed. If you can imagine for a moment, one day I go somewhere and I tell people I don't believe in Wi-Fi signal. I don't believe in this Wi-Fi signal. Somebody comes to me and says, Brother Shafiq, are you okay? What do you mean you don't believe in it? I can't see it. I can't see it, so I don't believe in it. And that person will think that I'm a bit of a quack, that I've lost my mind, that everybody believes in the Wi-Fi signal. That's why you've got these routers. That's why you've got these, now no more cables are needed to be plugged into your laptop or be plugged into your devices. Everything is wireless, wireless, wireless. It's all beaming, rays. And if I say, and we're all bumping into those rays every moment of our days, every single moment, whether we are sleeping, we're awake, our telephones, our cell phones emit these rays, our laptops, they're receiving, passing out signals and all that. And you can imagine that if somebody was to say they didn't believe in it, you would think they've lost their mind. You would think that this guy's not really serious. Well, how can he say he doesn't believe in Wi-Fi signal? So after all these years, all these centuries, maybe over millennia, we see that the same thing we've been saying: God cannot be seen, but He is there. The angels cannot be seen, but they are there. The Jannat cannot be seen, but they are there. There are so many things. The oxygen and air that we breathe cannot be physically seen. You need to have microscopes and microscopic, investigations and cameras that before you can even try and see anything like that. So why would people accept everything else that can't be seen, but they don't want to believe in God who can't be seen? And that's the argument that is given. So oftentimes you look at the whole world, and again, Imam Ali and many narrations from the Masumin, alayhim salam, peace be upon them all, talk about how if you see smoke somewhere, chances are there's a fire. If you see footprints somewhere, chances are somebody has passed through there. If you see, animal claws, animal tracks, and whatever, you know that an animal has passed through there. So when you look at the whole universe and you see the creation and how startlingly, dynamically, every piece of the puzzle has been put into place so uniquely, so specially, so almost correctly and in perfection, that the earth right now that we're living on is far enough away from the sun that we don't burn, and yet not so far that we do not freeze. Life as we know it cannot exist on Mercury or Venus, and it cannot survive in Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter. And so what we find is that the Earth is exactly in a place where it can sustain human life as we know it. It has water, it has air, it has all the facilities. And sometimes when people say that it's just happened by chance, it almost becomes startling. It almost becomes baffling. And how can someone say that all of these things just happened by chance? It's like, philosophers have spoken about putting 10 coins in a bag, shaking the bag, and taking out each coin numerically one by one. One first, 2 second, 3/4. What are the chances of that? Ask a mathematician, they'll tell you that the chances are 1 in a million. I don't know, God knows how many chances of getting those coins out of them in perfectly sequential order, in chronological numeric order. The chances are very, very minimal, if at all. If at all. So yet, we think that the whole universe just happened like that. It just was created like that. It didn't have, a creator, a sustainer. So what we come to the first stage of is the Holy Quran reminds us, and many of the ayat, the verses of the Holy Quran that were revealed in the city of Makkah Mukarramah, the holy city of Mecca, during the first 13 years of revelation. Many of those surah, those chapters of the Quran, talk about the oneness of God, the unity of God, the existence of God, the day of judgment, the prophethood, what we refer to as usul-e-din, the principles of religion. And so a lot of that the concentration is on God Himself. That what is He like? His qualities, characteristics. He is the creator, He is the sustainer. There are actually 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are given that actually define His qualities. And the difference between the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and our qualities is that ours are obtained qualities. We become something, we get these qualities. Whereas the Almighty Creator is inherently those things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Rahim, Rahman, He's merciful, compassionate. Those are inherent qualities. They cannot be separated from His own existence. And so when you say Allah is Khalik, He's the creator, that is a quality that is inherent in Him. He is Salam, He is peace. That is a quality that is a part of Him. He is Jabbar, He is Mutakabbir, He is basically an owner, He is powerful, He is very, very strong. Those are all qualities that are different than what qualities we have. So, for example, if I am strong, I'm not saying I am, but if I was one day weak, I worked out, I did this, I did all the exercises, then I became strong. And once I get old age or something happens, or maybe something, heart attack or stroke or something, I won't be strong again. So there's a certain time that I've got this quality. Before it didn't happen, then it did, then it won't in the future. Same thing with a philosopher, a thinker, a doctor, a lawyer. They didn't have that education. They weren't a lawyer or a doctor or a philosopher or a thinker or a professor before. And then they acquired the education. Now they're a doctor. Afterwards, they may again lose their mind, know the business. They might get Alzheimer's. So you can imagine that if I had a medical issue, would I go to a doctor who has now got Alzheimer's? Will I go to an accountant who had a stroke and who may not be able to function properly? And so, you realize that that person might have had their moments at once upon a time, but the time has gone up. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those qualities are inherently part of him. So what we have found is that to believe in God is not difficult, as we mentioned earlier. But what happens after that is that the correct belief of God was one thing that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him and his family, and all the prophets before Prophet Muhammad talked about and spoke about. The message, the foundation message of every prophet was exactly the same. The Almighty Creator. Sometimes people often say, "Oh, God is trying to confuse us. Why is He trying to confuse? Oh, He set down so many religions. He's confused the people." Well, the confusion came because of us, the people, the human being. We confused it because we rejected things we didn't like. We changed things we didn't want. We did all kinds of corruptions, manipulations, and scholars were a part of that as well. And so, people who wanted to change things the way they wanted. So God would send another prophet. That's why, if you look at the 124,000 prophets that were sent, starting with Prophet Adam, peace be upon him, and concluding with Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all, we see that the message, the fundamental part of the message, the foundation of the message, never changed. It was always reminding the people to believe in the oneness of God, the unity of God. God is the creator. God is the one. God is the God. And again, when I go to public high schools, some of the students often ask that, "Oh, you guys believe in the same God we believe in?" And I said that the God is only one. The God is only one. The same God, the God of Abraham, the God of Noah, the God of Adam, the God who created, Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, the God of Moses and Jesus, the God of Muhammad. This all the same God. There's not different gods. God forbid, na'udhu billah. This is the same creator. So yes, we believe. So then you say, well, why so many religions? And why so many prophets? And so why so many? Well, the simple way of explaining is in his infinite wisdom, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made sure that the foundation was the same, but applicability of God's laws had to conform to the society, what was needed at the time. So at the time of Prophet Noah, for example, the human race was very simple, basic. Not many laws were needed. Not many regulations were needed. Believing in God, acting good, acting nicely, praying, and whatever the acts of worship at that time were needed. Simple, not very difficult. At the time of Prophet Abraham, things started getting a little more serious. The human race was maturing, was growing up, and at the time of Prophet Moses, we had reached another level of maturity, another level of our own growth as a human race. At the time of Prophet Jesus, so we see that Moses was given the Ten Commandments, he was given the Torah, and Prophet Jesus was given the Injil, or the Bible, the biblical gospel. Prophet Muhammad was given the Quran. So everything that was done for the needs of the time, that was the revelation that God sent down, that Allah Ta'ala sent down. So for example, when the human race didn't need anything, then the foundation is the same, believing in one God, laws were different. And so the Quran acknowledges that it is the final book till the end of time. And so each era, each prophet, each messenger had scriptures and rules and laws for their respective times and eras. An example can be given that when a child is born, you feed the child what the child needs. When the child is just a baby, it's going to have its mother's milk. As it grows, it'll have mashed and, pureed food. As it grows a little bit, slowly, the child will start being able to chew, so we can give it strong, slightly stronger foods. Um, Larger doses because the child is growing, and then when they get to a certain stage where they can chew themselves, they can have steak and mashed potatoes. And I shouldn't be talking about that in the month of Ramadan in the daytime, but you understand what we're saying, that basically as the child grows, you feed it according to its growth, you give it clothes according to its growth. You don't give a newborn baby a suit and tie that's meant for a 20-year-old, because it's not at that level. You will say that yes, eventually the child will become 20, then he or she might need these clothes, but not for now. It will need that food later, but not for now. So the human race is in a similar situation in the eyes of God. So Allah Ta'ala created Adam, and from there onwards, there was a very basic, simple set of rules needed, which we don't even call them a set of rules. And again, when you look at, when countries are formed, when cities are formed, when provinces are made, we see that again, the rules, laws change as their time changes, and their rules and laws are needed differently depending on each situation and each circumstance as it evolves. So the human race was very similar. Now, when we want to try and understand God, and we see that because there's so many concepts of God. There is God who looks like an elephant. There may be God who looks like a monkey. There may be God that was drawn or made that looks like a date tree. There might be a God that looks like a spirit. There is a God that looks like this idol or that idol. So how do we know? How do we understand which is the real, the true God? That's when we find out that Prophet Muhammad and the Anbiya, the prophets, were sent to teach us about Allah, the true concept of Allah. How is Allah? Can Allah be seen? What is His power like? Is He limited? Can He rest? Does He need to rest? And so the Islamic foundations and perspective was very clear that Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatan wa la nawm. In Ayatul Kursi, in Surah Baqarah, we are told that Allah is the one Lord, the true God, the one, the essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is such. He is the mighty, He is the powerful, and He is the creator. And la ta'khudhuhu sinatan wa la nawm. He does not rest, nor does He sleep. He does not rest even for a moment. He does not sleep even to what we would call the blink of an eye, because He's the creator. He doesn't need it. We as human beings, we rest. And unfortunately, one of the reasons why people have had misunderstandings of Allah is because they've tried to apply their own situations, statuses, their own limitations. They've tried to apply those onto God. They apply their thoughts onto God. They apply their visualization of God and try and make God into what they want Him to be. And this is something that is a bit dangerous. It's erroneous. And this is something that the prophets taught us against. That don't apply your weaknesses or your thoughts or your limitations. You need to rest doesn't mean God needs to rest. You need to eat doesn't mean God needs to eat. You need to lie down or sleep doesn't mean God needs to sleep. Can you imagine what chaos there would have been in the universe if God had to sleep? And I would probably be waiting to commit sins when God's asleep. Billah, God forbid. That when He's asleep, then I would commit the sins, not that I would do it while God is awake. And how would I know when God is awake? How would I know when God is sleeping? So, these things become very baffling and confusing. So the whole foundation was taught by the various prophets, because people's imaginations will draw incorrect conclusions. So the prophets came to give us the correct guidance and to explain how the Almighty Creator is. What is Allah? Where does He live? So that therefore we find that if God was living in a place, that means He is confined to time and space. If He's confined to time and space, that means He's not in another space or place. And so we believe in Allah, who is everywhere at every moment, every second, every milligiga nanosecond, whatever you want to call it, and He is there at every moment. So we don't limit Him. We cannot limit Him. We must not limit Him to a certain place, to a certain time, to a certain era, to a certain location, because physical locations are again what we are bound by. If I'm here now in front of you, the audience, that means I'm not somewhere else. If I'm at work, that means I'm not here. And so when we understand our own limitations, we must be careful not to apply those limitations on the Almighty Creator. I get tired after I walk for a little while. Imagine if Allah was to get tired, na'udhu billah. So we see that this is something that is understandable. And the prophets came to explain that. So Prophet Muhammad came with that perfect example, the perfect way of teaching us the existence of God. The final completion, the Quran goes on to go a very, very clear way of explaining the Almighty Creator, the creation that He made. Huwallahul khaliqul bari'ul musawwir. God is the creator, He is the fastener, He is the one who makes sure everything is tied in together. And so these are things that we come to conclude when we try to understand Allah. And so once our belief in Allah is complete, then we will act properly, then we'll understand. But the firmness of the belief, inshallah, will continue this discussion in our next lecture. And we will then, inshallah, try to appreciate and understand where we stand. And we'll also get into why people were opposed to La ilaha illallah, the belief in oneness of God. Why they were opposed to Muhammad al-Rasulullah, Muhammad is the messenger of God. We'll talk about that because there was a very important reason, and that'll connect into what we talked about today. So we hope you stay tuned. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins, to make us closer to Him, to increase our taqwa, to increase our iman, our piety, and our faith, and to make us closer to Him. Oh Allah, those who are ill, grant them cure from their illnesses. Those who are suffering in so many parts of the world, hasten the downfall of the oppressors, and grant the oppressed a speedy victory, O Allah. We ask you to protect our ulama, the scholars, the maraja who are serving while the Imam is in occultation. Grant them long and healthy and safe lives. And we ask you, O Allah, to return our Mawla Imam al-Hujjah, the Mahdi, the Messiah, to us quickly. Make us amongst the ashab, the companions, the helpers of the Imam, and let us see that era of perfection with our own eyes, and so that we can see that perfection and all those beauties, inshallah, that has been destined for this earth. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. I ask you, O Lord, to accept from me this small act of worship. Surely you are the seeing and you are the knowing. Wassalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The 14 Masumeens have taught us to live by the Quran. They are the best examples for us to copy and to follow. O Allah, help us be like the Masumeen who you love the most. Like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, give us the most excellent manners. Like Ali alayhi salam, make us brave and ready to do what makes you happy. Like Fatima alayhi salam, let us be kind and caring towards our parents. Like Hassan alayhi salam, help us to be calm and forgive. Like Hussein alayhi salam, keep us with the truthful. Like Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, keep us busy in remembering you. Like Muhammad al-Baqir, give us knowledge that is useful. Like Jafar al-Sadiq alayhi salam, make us appreciate the amazing world you have created. Like Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salam, help us control our anger. Like Ali al-Radha, make us pleased with whatever you have planned for us. Like Muhammad al-Taqi alayhi salam, make us of those who have taqwa. Like Ali al-Naki alayhi salam, help us lead the Muslims towards good. Like Hassan al-Askari alayhi salam, help us to use our time in preparing for the 12th Imam. And like your Hujjah al-Mahdi, Ajalallahu ta'ala farajah, may Allah hasten his reappearance. May we bring peace by acting on the teachings of the Quran and Ahlul Bayt.
Yasin. O Allah, send your blessings on Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. In the name of Allah, the All-Beneficent, the All-Merciful. Yasin. By the wise Quran, you are indeed one of the apostles on a straight path. It is a scripture sent down gradually from the Almighty, the All-Merciful, that you may warn a people whose fathers were not warned, so they are oblivious. The word has certainly become due against most of them, so they will not have faith. Indeed, we have put iron collars around their necks, which are up to the chins, so their heads are upturned. And we have put a barrier before them and a barrier behind them, that we have blindfolded them, so they do not see. It is the same to them whether you warn them or do not warn them, they will not have faith. You can only warn someone who follows the reminder and fears the All-Beneficent in secret, so give him the good news of forgiveness and a noble reward. Indeed, it is we who revive the dead and write that they have sent ahead and their effects, and which they left behind, and we have figured everything in a manifest Imam. Cite for them the example of the inhabitants of the town when the apostles came to it. When we sent to them 2 apostles, they impugned both of them. Then we reinforced them with a third, and they said, We have indeed been sent to you. They said, You are nothing but humans like us, and the All-Beneficent has not sent down anything, and you are only lying. They said, Our Lord knows that we have indeed been sent to you, and our duty is only to communicate in clear terms. They said, Indeed, we take you for a bad omen. If you do not relinquish, we will stone you, and surely a painful punishment will visit you from us. They said, Your bad omens attend you. What? If you are admonished, rather you are a profligate lot. There came a man from the city outskirts, hurrying. He said, O my people, follow the apostles. Follow them, who do not ask you any reward, and they are rightly guided. Why should I not worship him who has originated me, and to whom you shall be brought back? Shall I take gods beside him? If the All-Beneficent desire to cause me any distress, their intercession will not avail me in any way, nor will they rescue me. Indeed, then I would be in manifest error. Indeed, I have faith in your Lord, so listen to me. He was told, Enter paradise. He said, Alas, had my people only known, for what my Lord forgave me, and made me one of the honored ones. After him we did not send down on his people a host from the sky, nor we would have sent down. It was but a single cry, and behold, they were stilled, like burnt ashes. How regrettable of the servants! There did not come to them any apostle but that they used to deride them. Have they not regarded how many generations we have destroyed before them, who will not come back to them? And all of them will indeed be presented before us. A sign for them is the dead earth, which we revive, and out of it bring forth grain, so they eat of it. And we make in it orchards of date palms and vines, and we cause springs to gush forth in it, so that they may eat of its fruit and what their hands have cultivated. Will they not then give thanks? Immaculate is he who has created all the kinds of what the earth grows, and of themselves and of what they do not know. And a sign for them is the night, which we strip of daylight. And behold, they find themselves in the dark. And the sun runs on to its place of rest. That is the ordaining of the Almighty, the All-Knowing. As for the moon, we have ordained its phases, until it becomes like an old palm leaf. Neither it behooves the sun to overtake the moon, nor may the night outrun the day, and each swims in an orbit. A sign for them is that we carried their progeny in the laden ship, and we have created for them what is similar to it which they ride. And if we drown them, that whereat they have no one to call for help, nor are they rescued, except by a mercy from us, and for an enjoyment until some time. And when they are told, Beware of that which is before you, and that which is behind you, so that you may receive his mercy, there did not come to them any sign from among the signs of their Lord, but that they used to disregard it. When they are told, Spend out of what Allah has provided you, the faithless will say to the faithful, Shall we feed someone whom Allah would have fed, had he wished? You are only in manifest error. And they say, When will this promise be fulfilled, should you be truthful? They do not await but a single cry that would seize them as they wrangle. Then they will not be able to make any will, nor will they return to their folks. And when the trumpet is blown, behold, there they will be, scrambling from their graves towards their Lord. And they will say, Woe to us, who raised us from our place of sleep. This is what the All-Beneficent had promised, and the apostles had spoken the truth. It will be but a single cry, and behold, they will all be presented before us. Today, no soul will be wronged in the least, nor will you be requited except for what you used to do. Indeed, today the inhabitants of paradise rejoice in their engagements. They and their mates, reclining on couches in the shades, there they have fruits, and they have whatever they want. Peace, a watchword from the all merciful Lord. And get apart today, you guilty ones. Did I not exhort you, O children of Adam, saying, do not worship Satan? He is indeed your manifest enemy. Worship me. That is a straight path. Certainly he has led astray many of your generations. Did you not use to apply reason? That this is the hell you had been promised. Enter it today because of what you used to defy. Today we shall seal their mouths, and their hands shall speak to us, and their feet shall bear witness concerning what they used to earn. Had we wished, we would have blotted out their eyes. Then, were they to advance towards the path, how would they have seen? And had we wished, we would have deformed them in their place. Then they would have neither been able to go ahead nor able to go back. And whomsoever we give a long life, we will cause him to regress in creation. Then they will not apply reason. We did not teach them poetry, nor did it behoove him. This is just a reminder of the manifest Quran, so that anyone who is alive may be warned, and that the word may come due against the faithless. Have they not seen that we have created for them of what our hands have worked, cattle, so they have become their masters? And we made them tractable for them, so some of them make their mounts, and some of them they eat. There are other benefits for them therein, and drinks. Will they not then give thanks? They have taken gods besides Allah, hoping that they might be helped. Yet they cannot help them, while they themselves are ready warriors for them. So do not let the remarks grieve you. We indeed know whatever they hide and whatever they disclose. Does not man see that we created him from a drop of fluid, and behold, he is an open contender. He draws comparisons for us, and forgets his own creation. He says, who shall revive the bones when they have decayed? Say, he will revive them who produced them the first time, and he has knowledge of all creation. He who made for you fire out of the green tree, and behold, you light fire from it. Is not he who created the heavens and the earth able to create the like of them? Yes, indeed. He is the all-creator, the all-knowing. All his command, when he wills something, is to say to it, be, and it is. So immaculate is he in whose hand is the dominion of all things, and to whom you shall be brought back. O Allah, send your blessings on Muhammad and the family of Muhammad. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.